into a sudden, transitory, but overwhelming sense of loss and longing, which flattened me and took my breath away, and obliged me to rest for a moment, stepping aside from the relentless flow of passengers, catching my breath and resting my hand upon my breastbone, until I too was ready to rejoin that flow, to press on with life, to put my card on the card reader and pass through the barrier, and then head upwards towards Piccadilly and the thin, late morning light. I walked along Piccadilly very slowly, reflecting on what I had just seen, and the way it had made me feel. Tomorrow, Ariane, the elder of my twins, by 45 minutes, would be leaving home at last, flying to the other side of the world. It would be my job to drive her to Heathrow, to wave goodbye at the entrance to departures, while pretending to feel nothing more ambiguous than pleasure at the wonderful opportunities waiting for her in Sydney. And then, my husband and I would be left only with Fran. With the problem of Fran. With Fran, who in the last few weeks, suddenly and dramatically, had gone from being a child to being a problem. A problem which had flawed us both, and would no doubt continue to do so for the foreseeable future, until we could find a path which led through the mess she had created and out the other side. But there was no sign of that path appearing yet. The task I'd set myself in coming to Piccadilly was soon accomplished. I went into Fortnum's to buy Ariane a going-away present, and it didn't take long to find what I wanted. Tea. She loved tea. For her it was the taste of home, and I had always loved making it for her. I bought her a pack of 6 different blends, which came complete with its own silver teapot and strainer, and I tried to picture her in some featureless student room in Sydney, pouring tea from this pot into her Union Jack mug, and sipping it, and being transported back to our kitchen at home, her elbows resting on the old pine table, and her hair sheened with low sunlight, cutting through the branches of the apple tree in the winter garden outside. Maybe it would comfort her. Or maybe, perhaps more likely and even better, she would not need comforting. The year was 2013, and it was the first week of January, that disorientating time when the Christmas festivities are over, but the world has not yet quite returned to normal. Feeling the need to do something that would seem routine, quotidian, I decided to go for a coffee in the bar at BAFTA. Perhaps there would be somebody there that I knew. It would do me no harm to have a chat, an exchange of gossip and pleasantries. The bar was almost empty. It still had that air of post-Christmas desolation. There was only one person that I recognised, sitting by himself at a table for 2 by the picture windows overlooking the street. Mark Arrowsmith. Not the first man I would have picked for a friendly catch-up. But beggars, as they say, cannot be choosers. Mark it was. I went over to his table and waited for him to look up from his MacBook.
"Calista!" he said. "Darling, what a nice surprise."
May I?
Of course.
He closed the lid of the computer and moved some papers out of the way to make room for the cappuccino I had already bought myself at the bar.
"Sorry about all this junk," he said. "I've finally got a meeting with Film 4 next week. They've asked to see a budget, which I assume means they might be serious at last."
He arranged the last bundle of papers into a stack and put them away in a plastic folder. Mark must have been in his late 60s by then. Although nothing like as athletic, he had something of the look of Burt Lancaster in Local Hero. As I said, everything and everyone reminds me of a film. He had the eyes of a dreamer, or used to about 10 years before, but these days they were clouded with defeat. Mark had been trying to get the same film made for the last 25 years or more. Sometime in the late 1980s,